Good day, everyone. This is Cairo A. Belmonte, and together with me is Mr. Tolcidas. And today we are actually going to tackle about the transfer of learning. So, what you will gonna know in this topic is the introduction, the types of transfer, the conditions for transfer, strategies for teaching of transfer of learning, and at the same time the motivation. Let's go ahead first for the introduction. So for the introduction, let's talk about first of the school. So for the purpose of the school is to develop children's skills and knowledge necessary for functioning effectively inside and outside the school. So it is worth of any learning is application of knowledge and skills in learning new skill or concept or using it in another situation. So it is meaningless to learn something that you cannot apply it. So as we speak about applying the learning that we have, then definitely we have to transfer the learning to another. So there are different meaning or definitions of transfer of learning. First is that situation where the learned knowledge and skills are used either in learning another information, knowledge, skills, or attitudes in new situation, which is at another time or in real life situation. Also, it is a knowledge and skills acquired in the classroom or at school that are being applied in solving problems outside the school or in new situation or in the real life environment. And further, knowledge and skills gained in one subject are applied in learning another subject or knowledge in one topic in learning another topic. So now that you know the different meanings and definitions of the transfer of learning, let's go ahead now to the theories of transfer of learning. What we have is the mental discipline, identical elements, generalization, gestalt theory, and a perception theory. Let's go ahead first to the mental discipline theory. So, mental discipline theory is learning and training is a mental process. That's all we all know. So, basic in the transfer of learning is understanding of classical knowledge, which includes the study of logic, grammar, science, and mathematics. This means that if you acquire knowledge and understanding in these fields, you can be able to understand better the knowledge in other fields. So, if you learn well logic, you can use logical skills in solving math problems. Understanding of logic can also be promoted through learning of grammar. Now, let's proceed to the theory of identical elements. So, this refers to the transfer of learning occurs when the person carries from one situation elements that are identical with the second situation where knowledge is to be transferred. So, there are a lot of elements that are identical that a person carries in another situation, namely procedures, concepts, actions, facts, attitudes, principles, or techniques. So let's say for example, a student has learned geometry in school. Measuring angles or sides of figures can also apply in actual work of carpentry or masonry. Next one is the generalization theory. This transfer occurs by using a memorized knowledge to other situations through general understanding of an idea from one or more situations. The knowledge gained through memorization can be related and associated to many other experiences and practices. So the learner can be able to transfer that knowledge to another situation without directly applying specific knowledge from the first context. So that's it. Let's proceed to Mr. Tolcidas.
Good day everyone, this is Tolcidas from BSED English 2B, and for the continuation of discussion of Mr. Cairo Belmonte about theories of transfer of learning, today we were going to tackle about gestalt and the perception theory, and we were going to tackle about types of transfer of learning, its strategies, and motivation. So let's go with our first topic, which is gestalt theory. What is gestalt theory? Gestalt theory is a school of philosophy that considers the entire human mind and behavior. Gestalt psychology says that we do not merely focus on every minute component while trying to make sense of the world around us. Rather, our minds tend to see objects as components of larger systems. It underlines that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. That is, the properties of the whole cannot be deduced from the analysis of individual parts. In modern German, the word Gestalt refers to the way something has been positioned or put together. However, there is no exact English equivalent in this word. In Gestalt theory, transfer of learning occurs when a person is able to understand the information or idea, its meaningfulness and its application to the daily life during the time of learning or when experiencing something. This depends on the learner's activity to understand the meaning of the idea or knowledge in one situation and understanding its application in other situations. For example, in school, you learn how to prepare manure in biology. So therefore, you understand that you are going to use it in your agricultural activities. So for our last theory of transfer of learning is a perception theory. So when we say a perception theory, it is the ability to construct a conscious percept of a sensory impression by combining different visual attributes of the stimulus into a single percept. So a perception theory focuses on linking knowledge, previous and new for effective transfer of learning. So this implies that the teacher must help students assimilate new information in their already acquired knowledge. It also implies that students must have ability to assimilate new information into the existing knowledge. And we are now here in types of transfer of learning. So there are 3 types of transfer of learning. First is positive transfer, second is negative transfer, and last is zero transfer of learning. So let's go with our first type of transfer of learning, which is positive transfer. So what is positive transfer? Positive transfer is the addition of new information or education to existing knowledge to improve or embellish it. It also refers to the facilitation of a new task, learning, or performance based on what was learned in a previous one. Learning of one kind helps another kind of learning or when used in life experiences. For example, skills and knowledge in mathematics are used in business. So for our second type of transfer of learning is negative transfer. So when we say negative transfer, it is the loss of ability to learn and perform a new task as a result of mastering a prior one. Negative transfer occurs when one kind of learning obstructs another kind. And there are 2 categories under negative transfer. First is retroactive inhibition and second is proactive inhibition. In retroactive inhibition, the present learning obstructs previous learning, while in proactive inhibition, previous learning obstructs present learning. It may also cause the meaning or the use of the previous language to be forgotten due to learning of the new language or vice versa. And for the third and last type of transfer of learning is zero transfer of learning. So when we say zero transfer of learning, it indicates that the prior knowledge or skills have no bearing on the acquisition of new knowledge or abilities. So in other words, the old information has no bearing on the new information or talent in this circumstance. So in this type of transfer of learning, if the new skill to be learned is totally unrelated to the previous skill, transfer of learning will neither be positive nor negative. No transfer of learning. So for example, having learned basketball will probably have no effect on learning swimming strokes. And we are now here in strategies. So in order to relay this best practice, here are some strategies to be used. So first is overlearning for retaining information. Second, much practice of challenging activities. Third, use of memory strategies. Fourth, revise one material before moving to another. Fifth, understanding of the structure of the material for perceiving similarities. And last is application of theoretical knowledge. And we are now here in our last part of our discussion, which is the motivation. So in order to relay this best practice, here are some motivations to be used. First is motivate them one or both of the following situations. Second, appraise them when they succeed in transferring. Third, knowledge in tasks given that demand transfer of knowledge. And last is encourage and support them whenever they try to apply acquired knowledge in the tasks you give them. So that would be all for our today's discussion. Thank you for watching and listening. God bless us all and keep safe.